Hi, welcome everyone. I am Dr. Rajkumar from School of Physics and Material Science, Thapar Institute. In this video, we will discuss about Monte Carlo integration. So, topics to be covered in this video are Monte Carlo integration, then importance of sampling, and moment of inertia. So, to begin with Monte Carlo integration, the integral of a function fx can be interpreted as calculating the area below the function's curve. Now, Monte Carlo integration is a technique for numerical integration using random numbers. This method computes a definite integral. Monte Carlo randomly chooses points at which the integrand is evaluated. This method is particularly useful for higher dimension integral, and in numerical integration, methods such as trapezoidal rule use a deterministic approach, whereas Monte Carlo integration employs a non-deterministic approach, that is, each realization provides a different outcome. So each calculation provides a different outcome. So, however, the final outcome is an approximation of correct value with respective error bars, and the correct value is likely to be within those error bars. So this is the brief about the integration and Monte Carlo integrations basics. So in Monte Carlo integration, uh, it uses random sampling of a function to numerically compute an estimate of its integral. Suppose that we want to integrate the one dimension function fx. Uh, it's a definite integral, so ranges of x from a to b, that is f is equal to integral from a to b fx dx. Suppose we want to calculate this integral. And next step is approximate this integral by averaging samples of the function f at uniform random points within the interval a and b. Given a set of n uniform random variables, say xi, we name it, which belongs to a set of a and b with a corresponding probability distribution function of 1 over b minus a. So it's a kind of distribution function. The Monte Carlo estimator for computing approximate value of f is then given by, so it is an approximate value, average value, so f, and it depends on n number of points taken and in uniform random variables, so is equal to b minus a divided by n summation from 0 to n minus 1 f of xi. It can also be written as delta x, where delta x is b minus a over n. Now summation from I is equal to 1 to n. Here we have I is equal to 0 to n minus 1. You can also have I is equal to 1 up to n as well. So f of xi. So xi, as I have already stated, that are the random variables uniformly distributed in the interval a and b. In quadrature case, for solving integration, the points are uniformly separated, which were used. Okay, but in this Monte Carlo integration technique, the points are randomly distributed. Now let us consider a graphical method for explaining the concept of Monte Carlo integration. The integral of a function fx is equivalent to calculating the area below the function's curve. Suppose I have a curve, say this fx. If I integrate this function with respect to variable x in between the range from here to here, it will give me the area under this curve. Now imagine that we pick up a random value, say x, in the range a and b, and evaluate the function fx at x and multiply the result by b minus a. So it's the same curve as that of this one. The fx is same. We consider a random point, say here, and we calculated the value of a function at this point and multiply it with b minus a. So b minus a into fx naught. But here fx is the height of that rectangle, this shaded area. It represents fx is the y coordinate. It is height of this shaded area, and b minus a, b and a, these are width. So it is kind of area of this rectangle. Similarly, if we consider say any other three random points in the interval a and b, so the figures are shown below. So I have kept all the 4 points in the same row. So first point we have already discussed. Let us consider another point in between a and b. Again, following the same process, height is the value of function at this random point x2, and multiplied by b minus a is means area of this rectangle. Similarly, for third and fourth point, we have different rectangles. Okay, so we have 4 different rectangles corresponding to 4 different random numbers. Now the next step is adding up the area of the rectangles and averaging the sum. So by that way, the resulting number gets closer and closer to actual results of the integral. So if we are using 4 points, you can use 400, 4,000,000 points for getting a more accurate result. So let us sum the area of each rectangle corresponding to 4 different points, and averaging means 1 by n or 1 by 4, because n is equal to 4 we have considered, which is approximately equivalent to area under the curve. Okay. Now using Monte Carlo method, this approximation converges to actual integral result as the number of rectangles or sample used increases. Similarly, we can easily evaluate multi-dimension integral or higher dimension integral using Monte Carlo integration approach, such as f is equal to integral over mu, which is a function of x, fx d mu as a function of x, with the following modification. Now the average value of the integral comes out to be 1 by n summation I from 0 to n minus 1 f of xi, which is divided by probability distribution function of xi. So in the previous case, in one dimension case, we have considered probability distribution function is equal to 1 by b minus a. Okay. So using this approximation, we can calculate higher dimension integral as well. So the next topic is importance sampling in integration. In reality, many integrals have functions that vary rapidly in one part of the number line and more slowly in other part. So to capture this behavior with Monte Carlo method, it requires that we introduce some way of putting our points where we need them more. Okay. So we distribute the point according to the variation of the function. So the importance sampling reduces the variance by observing that we have the freedom to choose probability distribution function used during integration. By choosing samples from a distribution PDF as a function of x, probability distribution function depending upon x, which has a similar shape as that of function fx being integrated, in that case variance is reduced for the integral. Intuitively, importance sampling attempts to place more samples where the contribution of integral is high or considered as important. If we can properly guess the important regions during integration, the variance of standard Monte Carlo estimator can be significantly reduced. So result will be more accurate. Now, so what we want to do is we want to introduce a new function into the problem, one that allow us to put sample in right places. So consider first case, we have a function of this Gaussian shape, and our probability distribution function is given by this dashed green line. So if we use random numbers from this range, from this probability distribution, then integral will be not accurate because this region is not covered by probability distribution function. In second figure, we consider another probability distribution function, but in this case as well there is error because the upper part of this function above this dashed line is not considered. So samples are not taken from this area, so integral will not be accurate. But here in the third part, we see that the probability distribution function almost follows the function fx. So if we choose this probability distribution function, then our result will be more accurate. So this is the concept of importance sampling. Now suppose we have two similar functions, gx and fx, and gx is easy to integrate. Then the definite integral I is equal to from integral from a to b fx dx can be rewritten multiply and divide by gx, the integrand, and change the variable. So let dy is equal to gx dx. Upon integration, you will get y as a function of x is equal to integral x g x prime, change of variable, and dx prime. Okay. So when x is equal to a, y is equal to y a as a function of a, and when x is equal to b, y is equal to y as a function of b, y at x is equal to b. So this is the change of limits. So now our integral I becomes, now integral will, the limit will change from a to b to y at a and y at b, and the function changes from y as a function of x, which is further a function of y, and g as a function of x, which is further a function of y, into dy. So we have converted our original integral, definite integral, into this equation, which involves function g x as well. Now if our function f and g, they are same, so they will cancel each other. So it is easier to calculate this integral. So the above integral derived has following properties. Gx is approximately is equal to fx, that is gx is reasonable approximation of fx and is easy to integrate. Also the integrand should be approximately 1 and integrand shouldn't vary much. So we can use rather a simple distribution now in this integral for solving or for calculating its value. It should be possible to calculate good approximation with a fairly small number of samples now. Thus, by applying change of variables and mapping our sample points, we get better answer with fewer samples. Now consider an example for explaining importance sampling. Let us consider the integration of function fx is equal to e raised to power x on the interval 0 to 1. Let the Monte Carlo random samples R, so we by our own consider few random numbers, say 4 these random numbers in between 0 and 1, that is 0.23, 0.69, 0.51 and 0.93. The integral estimate is then I is equal to b minus a divided by n number of points and summation of the function at each point. So value comes out to be 1.8630. The difference of answer is 1.8630 and actual value is 1.7183. So error is 0.1447. So this much error is there. These numbers are randomly distributed. Okay. So now let us apply importance sampling here. First, we need to decide on gx function. As a guess, let us take gx is equal to 1 plus x. So this is actually not a guess because our function is e raised to power x, and if we expand that e raised to power x in Taylor expansion, the first two terms are 1 plus x. Okay. So now yx is thus given by yx is equal to integral from of x 1 plus x prime, change of variable, dx prime, and on integration we'll get x plus x square by 2 simply. For the endpoints 0 to 1, we get y at a, which is y at 0 is equal to 0, and y at b, which is y at 1 is equal to 3 by 2. So 0 to 1 integrand maps to 0 to 3 by 2 by changing the variables. Now rearranging yx to give xy. So we have yx, now we have to rewrite this equation in terms of xy. So xy is equal to minus 1 plus square root of 1 plus 2y. So this is the simple. Okay. So now next step is set up integral and evaluate samples. The integral to evaluate now becomes I is equal to 0 to 3 by 2 integral e raised to power x fx and divided by gx, which is 1 plus x dy. So simply and now we have rewritten x in terms of y, so substituting its value we'll get this kind of integrand. So we have to integrate this integrand with respect to y. So now choose y's on the interval 0 to 3 by 2. So 0 to it is actually 0 to 1.5. So we have to choose say random samples in between this interval. Let us consider again 4 numbers 0.345, 1.035, 0.6765 and 1.395, any random numbers. So the function is now ratio of these two fx and gx in written in terms of y. So their value at these points are given by these numbers. So we see that all the values, they are close to 1 because gsx is approximately equal to fx. So that is why they are close to 1. Now evaluate the integral. For the new integral, now we have I is equal to b minus a divided by n. So 3 by 2 minus 0 divided by n, and value of function and their sum. So it comes out to be 1.7655. So difference to answer is now with respect to actual value is 0.0472, which is 3 times better than previous estimate. So by applying importance sampling, we can get better accuracy. So evidently this technique of ensuring the integrand does not vary too much is extremely powerful. Importance sampling is particularly important in multi-dimension integrals and can add 1 or 2 significant figure of accuracy for minimal amount of effort. And then the third topic is moment of inertia. It measures an object's resistance to a change in its rotational motion. It is analogous to way mass measures the resistance to change in its object's linear motion. Since it has to do with rotational motion, the moment of inertia is always measured a reference axis with respect to a reference axis, that is axis of rotation. For a point mass, the moment of inertia about axis of rotation is I is equal to mr square, mass into radius separation square. If we have a distributed mass, we compute the moment of inertia by summing the contribution of each of its part. So if the mass has continuous distribution, this sum is of course an integral. So here comes the role of Monte Carlo integration. One of the earliest problems to which Monte Carlo technique was applied was to determine volume and masses of cores of nuclear reactor and atomic bombs having variable density. It involves the evaluation of multi-dimension integration, because volume is 3-dimensional integration, and calculating density and volume and masses which involve higher dimension integrals. Now suppose we are given an object with a density distribution of rho as a function of x, y, z. So mass of volume element, say dx, dy, dz, any volume element at the point x, y, z is given by dm is equal to rho, which is the function of x, y, z multiplied by volume element dx, dy, and dz. Okay. Now leading to total mass, if you want to find total mass, you have to integrate over the entire volume. So triple integral means a volume integral at one integral for each variable x, y, and z. So triple integral rho x, y, z multiplied by dx, dy, dz. This is total mass. The moment of inertia of volume element about an axis passes through the origin is given by di. For that element is given by, for volume element is given by di is equal to x square plus y square plus z square. Integrating over x, y, z, we have total moment of inertia. So since we have to integrate it over mass as well, so, and mass is given by this equation. So we have volume integral x square plus y square plus z square multiplied by mass term. So rho x, y, z dx, dy, and z. So this is our moment of inertia in terms of 3-dimensional integration. This equation can easily solved using Monte Carlo technique, whereas if you try to solve it directly with non-uniform distribution or non-uniform shape, so it will be difficult to calculate. But Monte Carlo technique makes it easier for calculating the moment of inertia and corresponding volume. Similarly, the center of mass coordinate of body can also be obtained in a straightforward manner, that is x is equal to integral x dm divided by dm. This is the x coordinate. Substitute the value of dm from this. So it is so total is given by volume integral x rho d x, y, z dx, dy, dz, and total mass is given by volume integral rho x, y, z dx, dy, dz. So this is your x coordinate. Similarly, you can calculate y and z coordinate using or following this similar steps. So all these center of mass coordinates, they involve higher dimension integral, and Monte Carlo technique is very helpful in finding these numbers. Now with appropriate choice of small volume element, probability distribution function, and random numbers, these volume integrals can be solved easily with the Monte Carlo method. So in this video, we discussed about the basics of integration, basics of Monte Carlo integration technique. Then we've taken the example for explaining the Monte Carlo integration. Then we discussed about importance sampling, and we have used the example for explaining the concept of importance sampling. Then we have discussed about the moment of inertia and center of mass coordinate of in rigid body. Then thank you everyone for watching this video.